And while it can go down, and at some point I'm sure it will go down, I don't think that the conditions are there right now. The conditions for me are just to the upside, because the higher Bitcoin goes, the more attractive it becomes to TradFi. And now you've got this marketing machine pushing Bitcoin, but also any TradFi buyers who bought the ETFs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or even Friday of last week, 2 weeks ago. Anyone who was buying, and there was billions of dollars of volume, right? And probably a billion, maybe a half a billion of inflows net. So a lot of ETF buyers, people brand new to Bitcoin, have bought Bitcoin down here. And these are TradFi, used to seeing 10% a year is good returns. And already they're up 17% in 2 weeks. This is the best way to orange pill them. They now love Bitcoin. Anyone who even bought the top at the hype is already back to break even. And they're like, okay, got a little bit of an introduction into the volatility of Bitcoin, but that it bounces back, it's strong, it's resilient, and it fucking should be much, much higher, because that's the way it's programmed to go higher, as long as they keep debasing the currency. So this is a tricky part in terms of trading, right? Because without sounding like I'm on the fence, which I try to never do, but you have to consider multiple paths, we can easily just leave everyone in the dust and break out and make our move up into the most important range, which is kind of this 50 to all-time high level, right? That's like the true pre all-time high consolidation range, which I would expect we spend a bit of time in, and then we have a breakout. We're not there yet. We're on the way there. And as you're on the way there, you have to also look at and consider it can easily go sideways for a few weeks. It can go down. It could come all the way down, all the way up, break out. It could just go sideways for a little bit, break out. It could take the high, fall back, break out. Like, there's loads and loads of ways it goes, which is why spot is so important. Like, the core of your portfolio being in spot is so important. Trying to time it is really, really tricky. Trying to time it is what we do with trades. And we do those trades on top of our spot holdings. But that core of spot is important. And so I still have some cash on the sidelines, a little bit. If you remember back at the start of the year, I said I wasn't going to put any new money into the market. So this was like January, my 2024 plan, which you can go and you can watch it. It's on the Learning Center. I said my plan is don't put any new money in. So any profits I make, any income I get, don't put it in yet. I'm fully invested already. I've got Bitcoin, cash. I had some Solana and Ethereum at that time. That's all fully in. That's not changing. Don't put any new spot in yet until we see a dip. We got the dip. I started to put some in. I put 25% of my spare capital back into AKT. Loaded up an AKT at 240. Into ETH. Got ETH at 2200 or something like that. And so I do still have some cash on the sidelines that I want to get in. And as much as I think we can just keep going from here, I'll just wait until there is some kind of correction. I'm happy to buy higher if it's at a level that has shown confirmation. Meaning, I'd be happy to see us break above here, fall back inside, and then break above and close. Right? If it done this, if it took the highs out, fell back, and came back up, and we had a weekly close above 48, 49, 50, I'd just buy there. Not even there, I'd just buy there. Into Bitcoin or whatever else. Because I'm waiting for confirmation. Maybe we could buy this dip, sure. I would absolutely buy 40k if we got it. But I have the luxury of that because the majority of my money is already in and has been in, because, you know, if you've been around here, we've been buying since the end of 2022, all of 2023. And that's the point of sticking around during the bear market, where you get most of your money in. And then the last thing I'll say on this daily levels is, it might not feel like it, the FOMO will start to kick up, but you do still have time. When you look at total market cap, right, it looks great. It's pushing up. It's really strong. It came back. It held the bands. We're in a strong weekly uptrend. But we're still significantly below the all-time high. And so we're still in recovery year, right? Recovery year is where you get back all those lost gains from 2022. And then, especially if the expectation is that we have a big new bull market and Bitcoin goes above 100K and the AI bubble blows up and let's say we grow to 5 trillion, right? There's still so much ahead of us that you don't want to make rash decisions over low time frames. Stick to your plan, stick to your ideas. If you want to trade based on some kind of confirmation, then take it. 2024 is not guaranteed to be up only bull market, right? 2024, if it plays like 2020 did, which is over here, this is 2020, right? From January and all the way to December. So there's roughly. So most of 2020 until really October, most of 2020 was up, down, up, grinding, but then it really started accelerating later in the year. This year so far, we've actually just been sideways. There's January. We've just gone sideways. So, and we're still only in early February. The feeling of FOMO is a very strong one. You have to have a plan and a process. You have to understand that if you're confident that whatever coin you're in is going to go higher in whatever time frame you're looking at, then get in spot. Meaning, if you think Bitcoin's going to go to 100K and it's now at 46, and you're willing to hold through drawdown, but it's spot, so you won't get liquidated, then the upside is 100. The downside is what? Downside is being completely wrong, and maybe it goes to 30K, which I don't think it'll do from here, but it could. Anything can happen. And then the aspect of FOMO is like, it's always important to look back to. So when we had our big rally up in January, and we came down into this low here, and we reversed, we pushed up, came back, up, back, and we retested a couple of times. We've had a big rally, we've sold off, we've had a very similar reversal, we're impulsing off it. Is it possible the Bitcoin goes up, then down, then up, then down, then away again? Yes. And is it possible that, the whole market, this is total, but same for Bitcoin. And is it possible that we actually see opportunities to reaccumulate at higher prices later on? Absolutely. I don't think so. I don't think it will do that because it won't repeat the exact same pattern. But is it possible that it comes back? For sure. And there's no easy answer for this because this is the question everyone asks. But how do I know? How do I know which is the most probable, which one to take, which one to do? Well, that's the whole game. And that's why you need to set your plans ahead of time. And everyone who's been here for more than 2 months should already have these plans because I've talked about them. If you're brand new, I understand. You might not have these plans. But your plans need to be based around very simple. If there's a correction, I will buy it because it's a bull market. And we had that correction. You can't get greedy when Bitcoin goes down 22% and say, I want it to go down 30%. You're supposed to be buying a correction, right? The goal is just don't buy the top of whatever pump it is. Don't buy when it's literally going up only. And when you get that bit of fear and the daily bands flip red and there's multiple red days, you get some spot. As for now, we could be going for a brand new trend. We could be going to pull back. If you don't know which it is, split your orders. If you're like, I think there's equal chance we go up from here versus pull back. So if you're like 50% chance we break out, 50% chance we come back for another dip, then 50-50 your orders. Right? I'm going to buy some here and leave some in whichever coin it is. And remember that the real FOMO, the real flows of capital, all of that comes at or after all-time highs. You are still early. It doesn't feel like it if you're too involved. But in a really simple sense, if Bitcoin doesn't go to all-time high and if the total cap doesn't reach all-time high again, it'd be pretty disappointing bull market, which can happen. This might be maybe we get to 2 trillion and that's it. Who knows? But if you're saying my bet is we go to 3 trillion, then you're still early by that measure, right? Doesn't mean you'll be 100% right, but that's the bet, and that's how I would view it. So that's it. Bit of an overview. Really not a lot to really say, other than I think Bitcoin keeps going up and grinding up, and the ETF flows plus the short squeeze plus the spot bid is really strong, and I would favor 50k before 40k at this point. But again, when it gets to 50k, who knows? It doesn't mean that 50k then leads to 60k. You have to just balance probabilities and split your orders based upon what you think is the most likely outcome. So that's it. GM.